All right, I did promise people that I would look at Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is one of my favorite games of all time that I've played in my life. I never did get to finish the game, and I never got to play Iceborne. I bought Iceborne, and then my friends beat it before I could play it with them because I was working really hard at work that week, and they just ran straight through it. It was really frustrating. But like, I just remember having such a fun time playing Monster Hunter, mainly because I was a biology teacher, I was a biology major. I love the ecology and the world building that went into Monster Hunter, and the fact that there was an ecosystem and like a food chain, and like the environment was just so cool to interact in, and the monsters would fight each other. Just so sick. So sick. So now everyone is playing Monster Hunter, and we say, why is Monster Hunter World blowing up, and why you need to play it? So I'd like to know why this like 10-year-old game is blowing up.
Ironbreakers, welcome back to Monster Hunter, and today we're going to be talking about Capcom's monumentally successful Return to World campaign. Why exactly is Monster Hunter World popping off in 2024, and why is this the best time for you to jump back into the game in case you've never gotten around to testing it out, or if you are someone who still has goals that you want to achieve in Monster Hunter World. So let's get things started. If you guys take a look at this...
Because Monster Hunter Wilds is coming? That shit's coming in 2025. It's January of 2024. Get the fuck out of here. Look, I'm hyped for it too, but it's a year out, bro. Nobody's gonna play. Look, they're not just playing. I think that contributes to the hype. Yeah, sure. But like, we're a year out. I think there's a number of reasons people started picking this up again. They saw the Wilds trailer and they remembered, hey, the game looks really good. And then what's their face? Who develops Monster Hunter? The developers literally just tweeted out on Twitter, say, hey guys, play our game. And then everybody went back and started playing it. But then a lot of content creators had picked it up, like Asmon picked it up. And that's going to contribute a reasonable amount to its growth recently. Capcom. Okay, yeah.
Do a
particular
Chrono
screenshot
Odyssey
here.
React.
You'll notice that this is from the Steam Charts website. And this is a website that tracks the amount.
This is crazy. This is insane.
Amount of concurrent players at any given time for any
you can put the Chrono Odyssey reacts in my reaction submissions. I'll take a look.
game that is on Steam. Now, currently, as of the recording of this video, I'm looking at a number that is 143,000. However, by the time I actually capture the screenshot, might be a little bit lower, might be a little bit higher, because I don't know exactly when they update this number. But suffice it to say that this is a pretty high peak, taking into account that the all-time peak of Monster Hunter World was 329,000 players. This was
probably at launch,
back when the game was in its heyday, back when it was released. And the interesting thing is that 143,000 isn't even the highest this peak has been ever since the Return to World campaign has started. Because we have a post here from Dark Hero, who has been following this this number very closely, and the highest number that I've seen so far is actually 163,200.
Jesus, bro. That is nutty. This is crazy numbers. This game is ancient. This game is so old. Capcom is huge right now. Bro, they're just sipping their tea right now. Why make a new game when you can just put out an ad and have everyone start playing your old game? But yeah, no, it was the best of it's the best in the genre for sure. That like man versus wild like feeling, and like that feeling of fighting a big beast in like running out in the world and like fighting a big beast. It felt like the reason it's named Monster Hunter World is because it felt like a world. You were encompassed in a world and you were out hunting monsters. I never got that feeling, or even close to that feeling, with any other game in the genre. It's just that good.
167 concurrent players in Monster Hunter World. I would just like to remind you guys that this is a 6-year-old game, basically proving the point that when it comes to video games, if you make a good game, people will continue playing it. As a matter of fact, people will even return to it at certain key points.
Bro, you start killing a monster, you're like, I'm gonna cut that tail. I'm gonna get me that tail. I'm gonna make my new sword. I'm gonna be pounding, and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna pound this thing's ass again.
of its existence, so long as the game itself is good. You don't really need all of these engagement systems that publishers are always talking about. What you need to have is just a really good game.
It's hard,
now, an
man.
important thing to take in mind is that a lot of people are going to look at this information. You're going to go like, well, you know, 167,000 players, that's not really that much. But you need to take into account the way that this information is presented to you, which is we're talking about concurrent players, which for those of you that are not aware what that means, it means players playing at the exact same time. Because if you actually extrapolate this to how many players are actually playing the game without necessarily playing at the same time, like how many unique players are playing the game throughout the day, this will probably go out into the millions of players, okay? Easily into the millions of players, and that's a very conservative estimate. Like, I'm just talking about, I don't know, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million. That's like a conservative estimate, and that is only on Steam.
We got a piece of loot.
Because we really don't have numbers for PlayStation or Xbox, which again, if you take into consideration that, I don't know if it currently is on Game Pass, but I know it's been on Game Pass, so it might still be there.
Now, this monster looks like kind of a bitch. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I ever fought this guy. I fought the guy that looks like him, but does this stuff in the water. And it was way easier.
Monster Hunter World was a part of Game Pass on Xbox, and it's definitely also been a part of PlayStation Plus on PlayStation. And those are services that if for whatever reason you had already been paying for them, you just basically get the game and you don't really have to pay any extra to get the game. Okay, now on top of that, we also have a situation which is during the holidays, we experienced the deep discount in Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter World Iceborne, as well as even Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak, which also caused a lot of people to jump back into the game.
You know, I never played Monster Hunter Rise, but I heard it was like, I heard it took like a lot of the world aspect, like the ecology aspect out of the game, and it focused much more on the hunting. So like the hunting and the boss fights themselves are better, but the world is just not the same. And like, honestly, the thing I like most about the game is the world, but like, I'm sure that Rise is a good game, but like, I just never played it.
So conservative estimate is that there are easily a couple of million players playing the game across all of the different platforms that the game is available in. Now, an interesting thing is that this was actually happening, the kind of like return to world was actually happening before Capcom even started their campaign, because there was already a dedicated player base from Monster Hunter that was making a return to world. And you guys might be wondering, why exactly were people going back to Monster Hunter World when you already have a more current version, a more recent release of the game? In the
world, bro, you get to play in a world. It's different. Rise is just the battles, man.
Form of Rise and Sunbreak. Well, naturally, there are just some players that much prefer the hunting style that we had in Monster Hunter World, which was a little bit slower, a little bit more deliberate.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there's also a group of players in which I include myself, which is I've done most of the things that I'd care to do in Rise and Sunbreak. The few things that I'm missing that I still wanted to do was like investigation level 300 monsters, and the grind required to reach there is just pretty friggin' massive. It takes a very long time for you to actually just grind all that to eventually be able to go and fight against, the investigation level 300 monsters.
Monster Hunter World was one of the few games I've ever like stopped playing with my friends. Like my friends had to go to bed, and I just like kept playing, and I just ran out. I was like, I want to go kill another one of those things. You know what I mean? Like I want to go get another one. You know, and I would just keep doing it myself. It's crazy. It's crazy. BDO is another game that like that's one of the only games I've ever done that in.
And I got to a point where I just felt like,
normally when my friends stop playing, that's when I'm done. League of Legends was like that. StarCraft 2, well, StarCraft 2 was mainly solo, but
I'm a little bit tired. I'm gonna put the game down, because this is actually something that I would recommend people do whenever you're playing a game to the point where you're like, you know what, this is not being that fun anymore. You should just put the game down.
Yeah, like Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is also a great example. If my friends weren't playing Destiny 2, I'm not running strikes by myself. That ain't happening. I'm not going to do the raid by myself. I'll play when my friends are playing, but I'm not playing if they're not playing.
That's what I do, as opposed to, you know, eventually building out resentment for the game because I'm playing it despite the fact that I don't feel like playing it. I've done that in the past. It's not fun. I still hold very fond memories of Rise and Sunbreak, and I still plan on making a return to eventually, you know, going up to that investigation level 300. But, you know, a lot of players just feel like, you know, I've done the thing that I wanted to do in Rise and Sunbreak, and they want something new. Now, naturally, during the Game Awards, we had the announcement of Monster Hunter Wilds, which is probably one of the main
The second I saw this during the Game Awards, and I did it in my react to the Game Awards, but like, I was like, I am so in. I am playing the shit. When Wilds comes out, I'm in. Both feet.
contributors of people jumping back
Because
into
again,
Monster
I remember how much I was captivated by World, and I know it's going to be better.
Hunter World, because there's going to be a lot of people that see the announcement of Monster Hunter Wilds. They see how excited the Monster Hunter fan base is about a brand new Monster Hunter game, because for everything that a lot of people sometimes say about the Monster Hunter community, because I've seen a lot of negative comments about how some people are gatekeepy or elitist or whatever, I would actually say that a big majority of the Monster Hunter community are not only extremely positive people, they're also extremely welcoming people, and you need no further example than what happened with Hey Jay, who is a content creator that put out a video saying, oh, I don't really like Monster Hunter Rise, and rather than have a
oh god, dude, you can't, no. I will say my experience with the communities, they were always very welcoming. If I joined a raid or whatever, or if I joined like a group for a hunt or whatever, they were all really welcoming. It wasn't like, oh, you don't have enough gear.
Bunch of people come at him and started to, you know, basically sling insults at him or anything like that. The community actually rallied around. It's like, hey Jay, maybe, you know, maybe just try it out, maybe do this, you know, we really would like you to give it a proper chance. Like, people were super chill about it, and there was a whole movement around the community.
I don't know if I would describe the Rise player base as chill people. I feel like every time I see Rise mentioned in a negative light, bro, it's the pitchforks are sharpened. But I could be wrong. It is what it is. Again, like, I looked at Rise and I saw a worse game. But, like, I think it would be better if I was, like, if I liked Monster Hunter for different reasons. Again, I like the world that you're in. Like, look at this. You're standing out here looking at this. You see all these guys down here. The bigger monster was out running with the herd earlier. I thought that's just really cool, man. I think they're both good games for separate reasons. Yeah, I understand the patch notes are out. We'll look at them after this.
Get Hey Jay to enjoy the game. So whenever somebody tells me that the Monster Hunter community is negative or elitist or gatekeepy, I'm like, bro.
No. The Lost Ark community is elitist and gatekeepy, all right? The Monster Hunter community, no.
There's bad apples in every community. There's bound to be like a vocal minority that might suit that description, but the large, overwhelming majority that I've experienced with the Monster Hunter community are actually incredibly positive individuals that just want everybody that is playing the game to have fun. That is my take on that situation. Anyway, so, but basically when people see like how the Monster Hunter community is
what the f did he just put
rallying
on
behind Monster Hunter Wilds, and they're like, oh my god, so it looks like there's a lot of people that actually like this game. Maybe I should.
Dude actually just changed shirts mid-comment.
You know, jump into Monster Hunter. So that was definitely a contributing factor, on top of the fact that the game was on its deepest discount
Desperado set, Genie.
Possible as the announcement of Monster Hunter Wilds was made, which was a brilliant move by Capcom to basically like, hey, we're making a new game in 2025. By the way, our other two games are now at their lowest price point possible. For those of you that are not aware, right now I don't think that promotion is ongoing anymore, but Monster Hunter World was on sale for $9.
$9? Dude, when this came out, I bought it for, what was it, 40 or 50 bucks, bro? And it was worth every penny, bro. It was worth every penny at like the $50 price point. Yeah, like worth every penny.
Now, to put this into perspective,
I paid 60, worth it.
Put about 16.
I've put hundreds of dollars into Destiny that I would say are not worth it. I would say that the experience I had with Destiny 2 was worth maybe $100 total. And I've spent far more on Destiny because every expansion is garbage except for like Forsaken.
100 hours into the base game of Monster Hunter World.
But I will say that again, when Wilds come out, if Destiny's coming out with an expansion, do you know how much I give a shit? I don't. Unless people rave about it, I'm not going to go play it. But if Monster Hunter comes out with a new fucking game, I am in that shit like swimwear, bro. Actually just so in, because I know it's going to be good.
And I've put 2,800 hours, actually 3,000 hours into Monster Hunter World plus Iceborne across 2 different save files. Okay, 3,000 hours of gameplay.
Holy
you could
shit.
buy both games, I think, for $20, which is absolutely insane.
That is
when you
insane.
just think of the ridiculous amount of content that you are getting. So naturally,
You say that with BDO too, right? BDO is only like a $5 game most of the time. It's insane.
a lot of people saw that opportunity.
All the expansions
They got
are free,
excited
too.
about Monster Hunter Wilds. The deep discount was
Free.
during the holidays when people were, you know, like on school break or they had some time off from work or whatever. It was just the perfect time to jump in there. And then when you consider all of these factors that are going on, Capcom then comes in and like, hey, guys, you know what? We should all just play Monster Hunter World again. We're starting a campaign called Return to World. And you have the community managers, Jono and Joe Bustis, just basically jump in and say, hey, we're going to be playing Monster Hunter World. We're going to be starting fresh. This is the Return to World campaign. We should all just go back and play some World. And the Monster Hunter community just went like, you know what?
Okay.
That actually sounds like a really good idea. Let's go ahead and do it. I myself jumped back in. But another reason why this is as popular as it is, if you
I feel like Monster Hunter is a lot like BDO. BDO is such a great game that players will just come back to it after a while. You might leave for a while, but then you get that hankering to play the game and you come back and you play the shit out of it again, right? And then you might leave again, but then you're going to come back and you're going to play it again. Fucking Monster Hunter is exactly the same way. You leave for a while, but you always remember how fun it was. So when people are like, hey, let's go play that, you're like, oh, okay.
or someone
It's just that when you come back to play Monster Hunter, it's not like walking into the crack house that it is to play BDO.
who has played
Playing BDO again, it's like coming back to it's like, hey man, we see that you're relapsing. Welcome back. And he's not you people again. Like that's
played Monster Hunter for a decent chunk of time and you enjoy the game, one of the things that you will quickly realize is that there's actually not that many Monster Hunter alternatives per se.
true.
Right? You got Tokiden, God Eater, Wild Hearts,
Those are all
Dauntless.
garbage.
These are all games that kind of like try to put their own spin on the Monster Hunter formula, but there's just something that they're not able to capture. A lot of the things is about the monster animations, the monster ecologies, the kind of like the way in which Capcom designs the monsters,
True,
the
Thievius.
feeling of the weapons, the movesets of the weapons. There's just something uniquely immersive and incredibly addicting about the nature of Monster Hunter and how it works.
Correct.
And while a lot of these alternatives are fun games, they never really reach the high notes that you get in a Monster Hunter game. I'm speaking as someone who greatly enjoyed Tokiden. I greatly enjoyed Wild Hearts. I enjoyed my time with Dauntless, but they're not Monster Hunter at the end of the day. So that's another thing. There's just no really, alternatives to Monster Hunter. So whenever people,
Yeah, so when you want that man versus wild thematic, you have to go to Monster Hunter
they've
every
played
time.
World, they've played Iceborne, they've went and played Rise and Sunbreak, and they're like, what am I going to play now? Well, I guess I'll go back and play some more Monster Hunter World.
Exactly,
There are two
dude.
games that I didn't mention in terms
all
of
we've got,
alternatives
man.
because they're
Like
so
BDO.
obscure due to the fact that they're stuck on the PlayStation Vita, which very few people have. But another two alternatives that I would mention would be Soul Sacrifice. Good God, such an underrated game, and Freedom War.
All right, that guy's a rat. That fucking thing is a rat.
But anyway,
I hate that thing.
the final factor that kind of like increases this number even a little bit more is the fact that Asmongold has also joined the hunt. And this has actually been something that's been surprising to me because I've seen
I watched a lot of Asmongold's playthrough, and I was having flashbacks to Nom for some the Beetlejuice guy, the one that's got like the chin of like the beard, and then it's got like the lava that it activates. I can't, bro. I can't. It's brutal. He saw it. I was like, I can't. I gotta turn this off. It's such a tough fight, man.
a lot of people that appear to be upset
The bomber,
over the
the
fact that
B-52,
Asmongold
exactly.
has joined the hunt because they don't like Asmongold or whatever. It's like, you need to understand at the end of the day, the game
Bro, people. Okay, there are some people that don't like Asmongold. The vast majority of gamers like Asmon, and that's a fact.
being presented towards a wider audience by a live streamer, this is a good thing in my book. Like, I don't see absolutely any negatives when it comes to this. And as a matter of fact, that has actually allowed me, by reacting to some of his gameplay, it has actually allowed me to get some people to learn a couple of new things, which is interesting, because usually I do guides that are dedicated to specific topics, but a lot of people, they want to see their reactions instead, and then I pepper in a couple of tips through their reactions, and people are like, huh, I've learned things that I wasn't aware of. Like, for instance, a lot of people, and this might be surprising, but a lot of people didn't know that you can actually overcharge your greatsword charge, which was surprising to me, which is why I made a short video about it, because I was like, hey, I want as many people as possible that are enjoying the greatsword to not overcharge their greatsword charge, so that they can actually deal more damage, and they will probably be happier for it, I would imagine. So there's a lot of things there that are positive for the community, in my understanding. But anyways, these are what I would consider to be all of the reasons that kind of like make this perfect storm.
Did that thing just take a shit? What's
for
going on
Monster Hunter World and the amount of success that it is experiencing in 2024. And in case you guys weren't aware,
what a cool monster.
Monster Hunter World is probably my favorite game of all time. The base version of Monster Hunter World. I myself have done my Return to World
Jay Leno. Okay, fair enough.
Playthrough, which was something that I had spoken about quite often during some of my streams. I'm like, man, I would like to one day replay Monster Hunter World, because the first time that I streamed
Yeah, when I saw that it was becoming popular again, I was like, man, should I do it? Should I play it? Because I kind of want to go back. I played with the Lance my first time through, and I'll be honest with you, I did not have a crazy great time with the Lance. I think I might go back with a giant fucking hammer. I think I might like the hammer.
That on Twitch doesn't say VOD, so all of that is lost, and I don't really have like a full playthrough of Monster Hunter World in my channel, so I wanted to have that, and this was the perfect opportunity to just do that. And actually, my playthrough doesn't even include Iceborne for the first couple of episodes, because I wanted to have the actual world experience, which unfortunately is impossible because of the way in which they patched the game. There's some stuff that kind of like has Iceborne mechanics to it, like the clagger and all of that stuff is just implemented into the base game nowadays. But it was still a really good comeback. As a matter of fact, I've hit credits on my last live stream. I still want to go and do some of the other monsters that are left over, like
yeah, I kind of want to play Iceborne at least. I never got to play Iceborne. I bought it, don't regret buying it, haven't gotten to play it for years because my friends played it without me, and then
we have the Pickle, Devil Joe, we have Lunastra, we have the Witcher collab, which was also pretty fun, and we have Behemoth. I'm not going to be doing Extreme Auth though, because I would need to find 3 other players that want to play with high rank gear, and just try the logistics of trying to figure all that stuff out, and then you know, come up with a strategy, and me having to farm a specific set to make like a healer build. It's too much. Okay,
my biggest problem with this is that I didn't know that high rank existed, so my first time through all of the mobs, I went back and farmed every single fucking one for their full armor set. That's right, their full armor set. I had like every single full Anjanath and everything else, all of them. And then I got to high rank and realized that they were all fucking useless. And I was so mad. I didn't continue it. I was upset. I was pretty mad. Like,
I've done that.
I still remember Avran jumping into comment, oh no, all that stuff's garbage. And I was like, oh, good. He didn't actually know how much time I had spent like grinding on my own, right? Like I said, when my friends went to bed, I got to work. And I just went back and killed those things over and over and over again, grinding out like the best gear that I could, only to have realized it was all garbage.
That in the past, you can see that in the channel. It was a ton of fun back then, but you know, if you still want to do it today, this is actually a really good time to do it. You're probably going to do it with master rank gear or whatever, but it's still a good time to jump back into the game. There's a lot of players playing it right now. You should be able to find lobbies for anything that you want to do, whether that is Safi, Jiva, Kulf to Roth, all of that stuff. But anyways,
he said words there.
The point is, I highly recommend, if you've never played Monster Hunter World, that you give it a shot. The game is absolutely amazing. It's my favorite game of all time.
It's one of my
Also,
top
I will
threes,
eventually
bro.
be
Probably
doing
my top
Iceborne.
three.
I don't know if it's going to be before, after some of the games that are coming out pretty soon here, but we shall see how that whole thing pans out. But we have a lot of days left in the year for me to play through Iceborne as well. So lots of good times when it comes to Monster Hunter ahead. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you did not enjoy this video, the dislike button. Feedback is important.
True. Okay, here's the video right here, boys. I might give it a go. To be honest with you, it depends on how like I look at my YouTube reacts as a good indicator for what my audience wants to see. So we'll see kind of what my audience thinks about this. But like if they're on board for it, I definitely am, because it's definitely one of my top 3 favorite games for sure. Yeah, such a good game. And honestly, I could collab with other streamers to do it too, which I think would be a lot of fun.